I watched one interview where you said that years ago you toured America and you took it for granted and then it fell flat and you didn't go to the next level. So would you say that For to Fly was about that and the music aspects that you've been through? Would you say
Um,
flying now?
it's not, it wasn't really about any one particular event. I've had lots of things that I've tried that haven't worked out. I wouldn't say it was about any one particular event. I think it doesn't necessarily got to be about one like big thing either. Like every day we have small challenges that will test us and may set us back, and it's how we deal with them to move forward. So yeah, it wasn't a song that was about anything like any one event in particular. I think it's just more of like an idea of what we go through as human beings, really.
I was going to ask if you've got any advice for anyone who is falling and doesn't know how to fly.
I don't know if I'm qualified to give that kind of advice, to be honest. It's yeah, who knows? I've had some tough times, like most people, particularly like with the music industry. It's a very, very testing industry. Yeah, it's very, very tough. More so than anything else I've ever done. Like testing, like mentally, and yeah, so like every day's kind of a bit of a battle. There's lots of highs, but then there's a lot more lows behind the scenes. Um, so yeah, I always just keep trying to push on and just look towards the end goal, and try and see through any of the setbacks and just be like, okay, it's a stepping stone. It's part of the learning curve, and just try to keep moving forward.
So in Hourglass, you sing, "Time won't make me lose what I am, bury me in the sand." Um, what part of yourself don't you ever want to lose? What are you proud of having or being?
Yeah, we see Hourglass is actually one of the more personal songs on the album. I spent a lot of my 20s with the belief that kind of like life ended at 30. Not in the sense like I would literally die at that age, but kind of like, I have to have a house, I have to be financially stable, I have to be married, and all these kind of things. And I really put like a lot of pressure on myself, like feeling like once I hit my 30s, it was like if I didn't have all those things in place, then I was a failure, or it wouldn't happen. And that's really not been the case like whatsoever. Um, but I really like put a lot of pressure on myself to try and earn as much money as possible, and maybe you know I sacrificed a few things in order to try and earn more money. Whereby I enjoyed my 20s, but maybe I could have enjoyed it a bit more, maybe achieve some more in another way, if I wasn't so like money orientated. That's kind of what Hourglass is about for me, like feeling like I was running out of time, feeling like, oh, I've got to get everything in place before I hit my 30s, because that's when you become an old man. And now I'm well into my 30s, and I feel young, I feel great, and achieving new things all the time. And I don't have many, if any, regrets in life, really. I try to learn from all of my mistakes. But that is one regret. There were situations where, maybe I could have, like I said, with my fight career, I had a few opportunities where, I could have gone all in on it, and I didn't quite, because I was like, no, I'm teaching, I'm earning money, I'm doing this, I'm promoting shows, I'm coaching other fighters, I'm running a gym, doing that kind of thing. Whereas actually, maybe if I took the plunge and moved to Las Vegas full time, I could have, maybe made more of the fight career and been more successful on an international scale, possibly. Maybe not. But yeah, this is kind of one of the more personal songs on the album. Really, that's one that kind of directly relates.
You wrote Savages for those who feel judged and looked down upon. And you said you are never alone, unite and be proud. I know that's got a bit of a political twist. Have you ever personally felt judged or looked down on as an individual?
Yeah, I think so. I think pretty much everyone has, right? Savages is about how politicians and you know, people in power, the elites or whatever, view us as nothing more than savages. And it's kind of about owning that and being like, all right, cool, you think we're savages, well, we're going to act like savages, and kind of like a bit of a revolt type song, you know, like a revolution type song. That's what Savage is about. Yeah.
Is there anyone in particular you think in society people look down on, like maybe, you know, homeless or certain?
Yeah, I mean, anyone like working class, you know, I'm still firmly in the working class, and you know, grew up in that situation. You know, my family didn't have, you know, much money when we were growing up. Um, and yeah, I think, yeah, you know, these days I think the gap between rich and poor is getting, uh, you know, much bigger. And whilst, you know, yeah, I'm not going to, you know, touch wood, going to be homeless anytime soon. And yeah, you know, I'm probably better off than a lot of people, but um, in the scheme of things, still way down the order of things. So yeah, you know, yeah.
But on the subject of like judging people, do you think as a society we should all stop judging others and looking down on them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, again, it's human nature, isn't it? We make assumptions upon people, you know, with our eyes. That's the first thing we do. So there'll always be an element of that, but you know, deeper than that, yeah, I definitely think we can be kinder to people in, you know, more situations of need, and yeah, you know, maybe there'll be a change up in government soon, and we'll start to see it. Who knows?
That reminds me of the quote, never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. And that leads me on to some of the things that you've been doing to help others, like you've donated a signed guitar to raise funds for Matt Long's cancer treatment, and you're playing a show, Stand Together Against Cancer, as well. Tell us about doing your bit to help Matt.
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt's a great guy, and you know, seeing what's happened to him, you know, it's absolutely terrible. He's, you know, he's a lot younger than me. He's a young lad. I don't even know if he's 30 yet. Um, and you know, it's terrible. He's in a situation where, you know, his chances of surviving are extremely slim, especially if he stays in the UK. So there's a big push to raise some money so that he could get treatment. It's not available in the NHS, but available in the States. But as most people will know, medication and things in the States is not free and is definitely very expensive. It's big business in the States. So yeah, there's been a big push. I mean, you know, I've done something very small. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things to raise some money, and they had a very successful like GoFundMe that I can't remember what the final amount was. But last time I saw it was around 75 grand. So, you know, a lot of the blues and the rock community and the guitar community have rallied around and raised a lot of money, donated a lot of money. We had, you know, me donating one of my personal guitars that I wrote a lot of the earlier albums on. I mean, it's the least I could do really in that situation.
You're also playing a one-off show for the Booking Hall in Dover, which is under threat of closure. And well, I know you played a sold-out show there before, but how important is it to help not just grassroots music venues, but as many people as you can help in life as possible?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like there's only so much I can do. You know, I'm not in like, you know, a huge position of power or wealth. But yeah, something like this, helping the grassroots venue, is something that, you know, we can do. And we had a great show there last year. Like you said, it was sold out. And you know, bands need these venues. Like, you know, it's tough. And you know, I mean, it's, you know, we could talk about reasons why all day long, but you know, music venues are struggling, particularly like at grassroots level, with, you know, bands coming through, and every arena band you see was a grassroots artist at some point, you know, pretty much, unless maybe some of the pop acts weren't. But you know, guitar bands, rock bands, they were touring around the country in a beat up old van, sleeping in the van, playing to 50 people in, you know, the arse end of nowhere, doing that for years before they made it. And you know, I've been through all that, and whilst, you know, I'm a long way off headlining arenas. You know, I have moved up to a bigger stage than, you know, some of the smaller grassroots venue, probably onto mid-sized grassroots venue. But yeah, so it's cool. It's great to go back and do something like that and try to help raise some money. I know Steve Harris from Iron Maiden has done it too. I did announce mine first, and maybe he copied me. He saw that I was doing it and thought that's a good idea. I'll jump on. But he sold his out quicker than mine. I think mine's got about 20 tickets left. It's very close to selling out, but it's not there yet. But he has just sold it out. But you know, he is in probably the biggest metal band in the world, so it's hard to compete with
that. So you've got, like, you know, a range of subject matter on the album, and Secrets. So one of the lyrics is, "I want to run away and never ending pain." What inspired that? Was that one of your lyrics or someone
Yeah,
else?
yeah, I mean, yeah. I've written all the lyrics, but yeah. So I mean, like, Secrets is a song about someone putting a burden on you, and the burden becoming your burden. You know, the song uses the idea that it's a secret. You know, like someone's told you a secret and you can't tell. You know, that kind of idea. But you know, it might not it might not maybe be like that clear cut and that black and white. You know, like as a direct secret, but it can just be like a burden that someone's put on you and it's putting you in a situation, and you know, you're struggling to feel like you can get out of it without compromising the other person.
Hmm. Are you good at keeping secrets?
Yeah, probably. I think so. I think so.
And so there's all sorts on the album. One of the other subjects, well, it's about your mental, well, not about mental health battles. How would you say music contributes to mental health? Do you think, you know, do you feel better when you're playing and listening to music?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, in the first instance, like playing music, you know, I'm never happier than when I'm stood on a stage playing music. That's, you know, the reason I started the band in the first place. So yeah, I mean, that for me personally is, you know, one of the best things that I can do in my life. But music in general, yeah, I mean, for people that love music, it's such an emotional thing, right? And yeah, I'm a music fan first and foremost. You know, I wouldn't have chosen to make music my career if I didn't love it so much, you know, and the effect that music and songs can have on you. You know, if you're having a bit of a crappy day and you whack on some tunes, it can make you feel better. Um, you know, I'm not sure it can cure, you know, deeper forms of depression, but it certainly can help lift your mood on a down day.
And Unbreakable has a more positive spin with you singing, "I've risen from the dead and I'm taking back control. Now I've become unbreakable." So I guess going back to the beginning, do you think we all go through things to make us stronger? And though,
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's not as always as easy as that. Obviously, depending on what you go through, but I think that's always the aim. You know, to try and take these setbacks, and you know, Unbreakable is a song that's about um, yeah, you've been put down, you've been set back, you've been knocked back. And it's about coming back and kind of being like, well, actually, none of that stuff bothers me anymore. Like, you know, I'm unbreakable now, so you can say what you want about me. It's not going to affect me. I'm moving on regardless.
are there any other songs on Halo Effect that I haven't mentioned that you think are inspiring or motivating?
Landslide's quite a cool one for me. It's probably one of the songs that's the closest to a ballad on the album. And that's the song that's, you know, really about mental health struggles and feeling like you're slipping away, and you know, maybe more in, you know, in the forms of like a relationship, you know, where you kind of know that your behavior is being destructive to the relationship, but you can't help it. You know, you feel like every time you take a step forward, you take two steps back. And again, I think a lot of people have kind of been in that kind of scenario where, you know, you've got things going on in your life and you're having a tough time, and you feel like you're slipping away and you can't quite get to grips with things. Every time you come close, you just end up slipping back. And that's what Landslide's about.
Okay. Now, how would you most like to inspire people in general or overall, or in the future? Is there anything else?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, if people connect with the lyrics, and that's amazing for me. And I think everyone interprets things in different ways. Some of the things you said today, with how you've interpreted the lyrics, wasn't necessarily how I intended it when I wrote it. But actually, why not? Why can't you take that from it? Do you know what I mean? And I always think that's cool, like different interpretations and what each song like means to someone individually is pretty cool. And I see stuff online, people writing like in our fan group and stuff, like about different songs and about how much it means to them, and they'll put up some stuff and they'll be like, well, I didn't really write it to mean that, but if they've taken that, then that's great. And if the song helps them in some ways or inspires them in some ways, then that's fantastic. I don't really like, I don't set out to kind of do anything like that. I don't like think, do you know what I mean? Like, that's not really what I see my role as. It's not what I try to do. But if that's what happens, then great. I write songs, that I want to write. I write stuff that, means something to me. And if people connect with that, then that's like a double bonus for me. I don't set out and kind of like think, oh yeah, I'll write this because people will like this, or do you know what I mean? That's just not what I'm like, or what I want to do. Um, so yeah, but it's great to see people connecting with it. Like I said, Landslide, that's probably the one that I've seen the most comments about online that people have connected with. We did like a piano version, Josiah and I, and that one, um, I don't know if it quite went viral, but it had a lot of views on Facebook, a lot more than any of our other stuff, and seemed to attract a lot of new fans. And it was really nice seeing all the comments, people relating with stuff in that song. It's always, like I said, I don't ever write a song to think, oh yeah, people relate to this. That's like, I don't think that's a good viewpoint to have. I think it's not sincere. I try to write stuff that means something to me. Um, and yeah, and if people connect to it, then great.
Going back to For to Fly, you sing, did you think I would just give up? So is your plan now to just continue writing and performing music and never giving up when it comes to that?
Yeah. Well, I won't say I'll never give up. Who knows? I'm a fairly impulsive person. There'll probably come a day where I've decided I had enough, but I do this because I enjoy it. When the day comes that I no longer enjoy it, that's when I'm going to stop. It's a very, very tough industry. It's very, very tough on a lot of levels, personal level, because obviously, it's such an intimate thing, writing songs and putting them out in the world. Um, it's a very, very personal thing. So you've kind of got that aspect to it. So if whenever you do get any knockbacks or whatever, it does always feel a lot more personal than maybe other stuff. And also financially, it's very, very tricky to make it work financially, and we've all got to do other things alongside the music to try and keep it going. Even at the level I'm at now, sell 800 to 1,000 tickets around the country, like different venues and stuff, and I still have to work a lot alongside it. That's not enough to be able to support me full time. So yeah, that's But like I said, I still enjoy it. Once it gets to the stage that I don't enjoy it anymore, then I'll move on and do something else.